My name is Abina Crean. I'm a Professor of Pharmaceutics in the School of Pharmacy, UCC, and I'm also a pharmacist registered with the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland. In this presentation, which is an introduction to pharmacy in UCC, I will give some background to the subject area of pharmacy. I will explain how a student becomes a pharmacist and the structure of the pharmacy program in UCC, as well as career opportunities when students graduate. But before I start, why study at UCC? Well, UCC is one of the top 50 universities in Europe for teaching and learning. Over 90% of our graduates are in employment or in further study. It's ranked 9th internationally as the most sustainable university. It's awarded by the Irish Times 5 times as the Irish University of the Year. It's one of Ireland's leading universities for providing access to third level education. It's been ranked first for student experience in Ireland, at the forefront of improving gender equality in education. It's in the top 2% of universities of the world's university rankings. So, pharmacy at UCC. So first of all, what is pharmacy? So the subject area of pharmacy, it concerns both the scientific and the clinical aspects of medicines. So it brings together science related to medicines with their use in clinical settings. So it brings the student through from the discovery of molecules to treat specific diseases, through to the application of that molecule in a clinical setting to treat a specific patient and the management of these molecules and medicines in clinical settings. A pharmacy education allows you to work both as a scientist and a healthcare professional, or both. And a number of roles will encompass healthcare professionals working as scientists. So the program of pharmacy, it's a broad discipline that comprises a mixture of scientific subjects and clinical based subjects, and all of these are focused around the use of medicines to treat patients. So we can look at this slide here and we can see the different areas that are involved in pharmacy. In order to discover a medicine to treat a patient or design a medicine to treat a patient, we need to understand the disease down to a chemical and biochemical level, and then we need to understand how different molecules or drugs can interact in the body to treat specific diseases. However, the drug substance itself is rarely given to patients. It's generally a medicine, and we need to understand how we can transform these drug substances into medicines that we can use to treat patients. And also, a key part of treating patients is advising patients on how to take their medicines, identifying that it's the right medicine for the patient, and advising patients on the handling and use of their medicine. So pharmacy is a professional program, and in Ireland it's regulated by the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, or the PSI. And pharmacists practicing in Ireland need to be registered with the PSI. And to achieve this registration, they need to have completed a master's degree in pharmacy. Pharmacy at UCC, it provides the educational requirements and it's accredited regularly by the PSI. So it's a 5-year program, and the first 4 years are the BPharm, and then students go on and take their MPharm. So once a student has passed the first 4 years, which is their BPharm, it's a level 8 qualification, they can progress to the 5th year and achieve their level 9. And it's that level 9 qualification that's required to register as a pharmacist in Ireland. The programme in UCC is patient-centred, and it looks at medicines from molecule to medicine. So there's a number of areas of study: the chemistry of drugs, and that's pharmaceutical chemistry; drug action on the body, how drugs work in the body, pharmacology, but also biochemistry and microbiology; drug design and formulation studies, how we convert that drug substance into a medicine; and the practice of pharmacy and clinical pharmacy. So this involves how we use drugs to treat patients to alleviate specific illnesses. Becoming a pharmacist and the pharmacy program in UCC, it's delivered in two ways. Predominantly the program involves the students attending UCC, attending lectures, tutorials, practicals and workshops. But also a key part of the program is learning on placement, practice-based learning. So in first year, this is just one day in a local community pharmacy. But as the years go on, the length of time increases. In second year, it's a 2-week placement, again in community pharmacy. In third year, students can opt to take a 2-month placement in any area of pharmacy, community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy or industrial setting, and that's optional for the student. It's not required for their to be completed to achieve the degree. But in fourth year, in the first 4 months of the fourth year placement, pharmacists undertake a placement in one area of pharmacy. Again, community, hospital, or perhaps an industrial or an emerging area of practice. And then in the fifth year, they undertake an 8-month placement. So the fifth year of the program is a 12-month year. The first semester is spent in UCC, with the second semester up until August spent on placement. And that placement is in a patient-facing pharmacy, so community pharmacy or hospital pharmacy. And at the end of the 5 years, the students undertake a pre-registration exam, and that's part of the MPharm program. It's a module within UCC where the students are assessed for their professional competency in pharmacy before they're signed off as a pharmacist. And they can, at that stage, register and practice. So what are the entry requirements for the program? So the number of places on the program are quite limited, approximately 50 places. The normal route of entry is the CEO application route, but there is also a mature student route. You will see the minimum entry requirements for the program listed on this slide. Students are required to have a minimum of a H4 in chemistry, a H4 in either physics and biology, and have the subjects of Irish, English, another language and mathematics. However, as you'll appreciate, due to the limited number of places and the high demand, candidates generally require substantially higher qualifications than the minimum. And in 2021, the entry requirements through the CAO were 613 random selection. This was a jump from 2020, where the points were 590. In addition to the educational requirements to undertake the program, there also is a fitness to practice declaration that needs to be made. And fitness to practice is common across healthcare programs, and it's in place to ensure that students starting off on the program will be able to practice and complete the program. So students are asked to declare any illness or condition that they think could potentially prohibit them from practicing as a pharmacist. So once students graduate, there's a range of career options. So these involve community pharmacy, and the majority of our graduates would work in community pharmacy. The community pharmacist is a health professional working on the high street and is often the first point of call for people who have medical queries. And the community pharmacist can diagnose certain ailments and indicate medications to treat them, or in certain cases where they feel it's better, they'll advise the patient to go to the doctor and the doctor will prescribe the medicine. So they provide a valuable service in primary healthcare. A key part of their job is dispensing medicines, and they're custodians of medicines. Medicines, when they're used correctly, can do a lot of good, but if they're misused, they can be harmful to patients. So they monitor the usage of medicines and ensure when giving to medicines it's the right drug for the right patient. However, the role of pharmacy is evolving, and in addition to providing information relating to people's medicines, they're now becoming increasingly involved in cholesterol testing, vaccine administration, blood pressure monitoring, or reviewing medicine usage. The other interesting thing about community pharmacy as a career, it is an opportunity to own and run or manage a business. But what's key to community pharmacy is ensuring that the right person gets the right medication at the right dose for the right duration. A number of our graduates would work in hospital pharmacy, and within hospitals they're experts on medicines and they would interact daily with the other medical professionals in the hospital providing drug information. Again, like the community pharmacy, they'll ensure that the patient gets the appropriate medicines at the appropriate dose. And within hospital pharmacy and in the larger hospitals, there's opportunities for specialisation in the areas of oncology, cardiology, and diabetes. They can be involved in ward rounds with consultants and their teams where they'll advise on the correct medicines usage for specific patients. And another key role is they're involved in the preparation of sterile and extemporaneous formulations, particularly in the area of oncology where medicines are made up specific for patients. These have to be made up under sterile conditions, and the pharmacist would conduct this role within the pharmacy. And additionally, they will be involved in developing drug formulae and advising on drug usage policies within the hospital. The third area of pharmacy that our graduates go into is industrial pharmacy. And this is of major interest in UCC because we have a large pharmaceutical industry cluster on our doorstep in Cork. Ireland is well recognised as a major area for pharmaceutical manufacturing, and pharmacists are also employed in this area. They work in areas from research and product development. They work as quality assurance and they can operate as a qualified person. The qualified person is a role that's defined in EU legislation, and it's a person who releases batches from factories for human use. And again, it's got a very clear educational requirement, and the pharmacy program in UCC meets the educational requirements for the qualified person. So a pharmacist who graduates after 6 months industrial experience will be able to register as a qualified person. Pharmacists are also involved in technical services such as validation and other activities and the production of medicines. They also work in regulatory affairs, clinical trials, medical information, and pharmacists go on to senior management in a number of companies. Other roles for pharmacists include working for government agencies such as the Health Products Regulatory Authority, the HPRA, the National Medicines Management Programme, and the National Centre for Pharmacoeconomics. These agencies would recruit a number of pharmacists, and there would be a number of pharmacists in various roles in these agencies. It's worth pointing out that pharmacy as a career, as you can see, you can have flexibility to move across different sectors from industry. REP stands for emerging practice areas, community, hospital, and academia. There's also flexibility in working arrangements. You can work as a sole trader, a director of a limited company, an employee of a multinational company. And there's also flexibility in the working day, how and where you work, the working hours. So depending on the area you go into, this flexibility may be available. So for example, if you're working in community pharmacy, you can work in a small pharmacy, or you could work for a large multinational such as Boots. You can work as a full-time hours, but you also may work as a locum and do limited number of hours per week. So there is great flexibility in the career. When you come out, there's lots of opportunities of different areas to go into. A number of students will go on and undertake further study, such as research degrees. And the pharmacy graduates, they generally undertake PhDs in pharmaceutics and clinical pharmacy because they would be core pharmacy subjects. But a number of our graduates, because of their strong academic backgrounds, will undertake PhDs in pharmacology, pharmaceutical chemistry, biochemistry, microbiology, and public health. So it provides an educational basis and a high scientific content in the course to enable students to enter a PhD program in a number of different areas. So just to finish off some fun and interesting facts. RX, which is a symbol for a prescription, we believe that goes back to Egyptian origins. Pharmacy and medicine, they're quite distinct disciplines, and they separated as far back as 1240 AD. Coca-Cola was invented by a pharmacist. I'm not sure if that's something we should be happy about from a healthcare perspective. And finally, Agatha Christie, she was a pharmacy technician, and her working in pharmacy inspired her to her many mysteries. I hope I've provided you with an overview of pharmacy at UCC. Should you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at this email address, pharmacy@ucc.ie, where we'll endeavour to answer any of your queries. Thank you.